What is the truth? If you were to ask the dictionary, you'd get 11 different answers. Some of them are an actual state, something that you cannot deny. For instance, objective truths like math or science, 1 and 1 will always be 2. Gravity, we know 100% of the time, if we throw a ball up in the air, it's going to come down. That's the truth. So there are objective truths, things that will always be true. And then there are the other kinds of truths, and that's what we're here to talk about. I'm Kim Cordy. This is Flavors of Emotions, and the truth is kludgy. For me, for you, for everyone. And here's why. Because we live in a world of probabilities. We like to think everything we experience is truth. What you see, what you hear, all of our experiences are absolutely 100% true. We know that's not the case. We get limited information. It's just a matter of fact. There's a lot of perceptive data out there that we don't even have access to. And within the small framework of perceptive data that we get even a smaller portion of it. Out of 11 million bits of information per second, we can consciously get 40 to 60. So right then and there, you know your truth is a little shaky. And then we have the whole problem with our emotions. They also filter what is true, what quote unquote true. I'm using the truth loosely here. So what we perceive as true, how's that? And it filters what truth it can become for us. How we feel about things will shape our perception, and that's shaped by our focus, which is shaped by our feelings, which is shaped by our prior experiences. And our prior experiences were put there sometimes by us, but the majority by other people when we were formative, right? We go to school, we're learning. Anything that we participate in, be it religious, social, it doesn't matter. It's going to frame how we see the world. It's going to frame our truths. So our truths, 100% solid, like math or gravity? I'm going to say no. Because as soon as you change a factor, as soon as you add more information, that truth can change. Our feelings can change. Our perceptions can change. What we focus on changes. Think about even what we count as truth collectively. Money is only true because we made it that way. We've had a system for so long of money, but until I think it was the Jesuit priests who started this whole thing of money. Before then, it was just barter. Christmas. There's a real easy one. It's our truth today, December 25th, is Christmas. But what was it before? It was the celebration of the rebirth of the sun on the winter solstice. It's situationally true. And that's why I say truth is kludgy. It's soft. It's changeable. And so it will never be these kinds of truths like gravity or math. It will never be truly objective. We live in this world of prediction, of possibilities, and our possibilities are what can happen in our reality is coming from inside of us. I have been fascinated by listening to Federico Fagin and Bernardo Kastrup when they talk about consciousness, and especially Bernardo Kastrup when he talks about reality. And they both refer to it coming from the inside. Our reality exists in us. In my book, I talk about an example that was given by other neuroscientists, how we have the world as an internal model inside of us. So what we have constructed from our prior experiences is what we see and believe and predict and is used to create our probabilities, which become the predictions that we experience and the truths or reality in which we exist. And that can be different for every single person. Not everyone sees the world the same way or has the same reality as us for that very reason. And yet, there is this insistence on truth and reality as people experience it, and having no allowance, tolerance, or feeling threatened by anybody else who doesn't share their version of reality / truth. It's a problem. And it's a big problem now, right? And it's been a problem for a long time. I was born in 63. This song came out in 1968. I'm going to pull it up right now so that I can quote you the words because it's such a cool song. It is by Sly the Family Stone. It's called Everyday People. And I'm going to play it at the end. If you want to listen to it, I invite you to. It's kind of jazzy and fun, and it's been in my head. And the reason it was in my head is because my husband loves different eras of music, and this song came on, and I can't stop singing it. But it kind of helped me to inspire part of this podcast. But I'm going to give you parts of it because you know how it is. They say the same thing over and over, but I'm going to give you some of the meatier parts. And this is 1968. And the lyrics go, "Sometimes I'm right and I can be wrong. My own beliefs are in my song. The butcher, the banker, the drummer, and then makes no difference what group I'm in. I'm everyday people. There's a blue one who can't accept the green one for living with a fat one who's trying to be the skinny one. Different strokes for different folks." And then it says, "I'm no better and neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do. You love me, you hate me, you know me, and then you can't figure out the bag I'm in." Or where he's coming from. It was a 60s term. Then he sings, "There's a long hair that doesn't like the short hair for being such a rich one that won't help the poor one," and so on and so on. Scooby-Doo. It says Scooby-Dooby-Doo or something like that. Super cute. Anyway. Last thing is there's a yellow one that won't accept the black one, that won't accept the red one, that won't accept the white one. And you think to yourself, like, that doesn't make sense, but none of it makes sense why we won't accept each other. At least accept how people believe and honor their belief, respect how they believe, and not feel so threatened by alternate beliefs, and question yourself why you feel so threatened. Are you so emotionally tied to that belief knowing that it could be wrong and you can't break free of it? That's a whole nother issue. And the issue isn't having to do with outside people. It's having to do with the inside person. Because if you're so afraid of someone else's belief, that means you're not living your truth. Because if you were, you'd be okay. And you might take offense to that, but think about it. Why would you be afraid, angry, upset if someone feels differently than you? And I'm going to go back to that line that says, "I'm no better and neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do." And this goes back to the work by Bernardo Kastrup and, well, actually not just them, but this is who I've been listening to recently. And there's others who will tell you the same thing. This is a quantum science thing. It's a unified field theory. We are all made of fields. We are vibrating fields. And when we break it down, it goes to a single field. And then that field is part of a field that makes up everybody. This is why we connect to people. And this is why we can feel other people. And this is why work that's done by the Heart Math Institute, and I'm going to put a video link in the description that you can watch that talks about how an experiment that they did trying to prove that this field exists kind of proved it. And I think that there's a lot more work going on to even prove that this field that we're all a part of includes animals, it includes trees, it includes everything. That's why we need to be united and not sit there and say, I'm right, you're wrong, because we can both be expressions of that field that just express themselves differently. And that's great. It's good. It gives us contrast. It gives us an ability for more experiences to learn, to grow as a person. Because I always say, we are here to learn about ourselves, to grow as a person, and then take that experience with us. If you think that that field theory doesn't make any sense, I'm going to use an example that Federico Fagin uses, and it's of a wave. If you look in the ocean, you'll see a distinct wave. In fact, you can see tons of them. They're happening all over the world, all at once, especially in these larger oceans. They're countless. That wave is distinct from the ocean and yet still part of the ocean. Does that make sense? I'm going to say it again. That wave that gets created is distinct from the ocean and yet still part of the ocean. It's a wave, but it's still the ocean. And so we're these waves that get created from this one field. This might be all new for you. This might be too outrageous for you, but there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot of research behind this, and it makes sense. When you really start looking at the depth of what and how we're constructed and what and how we experience the world, we only experience it through our senses. And our senses are created by bits of information from different fields. Without this sensory system, what are we? We're nothing. It's how we experience. And if we don't connect to our feelings, if we don't examine them, if we choose to stay in a truth that we know could be kludgy, we just talked about the kludginess of truth, then we don't grow, we don't learn, and we keep a false sense of separation from those who share this field of life. I went kind of deep, huh? But I think that it's important for us to remember we are all connected. And so how we treat each other is how we're treating ourselves. How we treat those whom we dislike is affecting us too. We're all affected now by the amount of turbulence in the field. So let's do what we can to smooth it out. And part of that is recognizing there's more than one truth, which makes it an amazing opportunity to grow and expand as a human being. If you want to learn more about connecting to that field or understanding a little bit more about that, because I talk about it in my larger experience, because I feel that it's important in my sensory sync experience, you go to getsensorysync.com and you can learn more about it. There's a link also in the description. This is where I teach emotional education from a very different standpoint, as you can see even from this podcast. So thank you for listening. I appreciate you very much. And I'm going to start this song. And hopefully you'll kind of bop around a little bit when you're listening to it because it's super upbeat. You'll learn the words and start singing along like I do. This is why, and I'm going to say this real fast, this is why my husband and I think are a good couple, because he listens to the music and I listen to the words. And he's always like, how do you know all the words? Because I really pay attention to words and he pays attention to the music. So together we're words and music, and that makes for a perfect song. I will talk to you later. Thanks again, and bye for now.
Slide update. YouTube copyright restriction is keeping me from playing it in this podcast. So if you want to listen to Everyday People, click the link in the description. Trust me, it's fun.